This Dark Souls 3 series covers how to do all quests and missable content in order so that all choices and rewards will be available. For best results, follow this series from the start of part 1. There will be spoilers in the form of important information, and as usual, useful timestamps can be found in the video description. At the end of part 7, we had just arrived at Irithyll Dungeon. In part 8, we will be covering important questlines to start or continue there, as well as the Profaned Capital, Consumed King's Garden, Untended Graves, and Archdragon Peak, covering just about everything leading up to Lothric Castle. We will start at the Irithyll Dungeon Bonfire. We need to watch out for pushing zombies and especially the jailers, which can reduce max health and hamstring us. After passing the first set of jail cells, we will turn right, then left at the next intersection. Crossing over the bridge, we will turn right, then go into the first jail cell on our left. There is a hole in the wall that we can go through to access another area of the dungeon. Going down that way, we will find the Jailbreaker's key in the last cell on our right. We can then go through a one-way door and make our way back across the bridge. Once across, we will turn left and go to the window at the end of the walkway. The barred window can be opened with the Jailbreaker's key. Once out, we'll make our way down the path to our right. There is a chest mimic ahead, and it's a good idea for us to eliminate other nearby enemies before attacking it. The mimic drops an Estus shard when defeated. We can then go into the next chamber and drop down the pit to our right. There is a crystal lizard here that drops a Titanite chunk, and the giant will also drop one when defeated. If we want, we can open a nearby door and run to safety to get the giant to fall back asleep, then take a cheap shot on it. I'm pretty sure this can be repeated until the giant is defeated. Alternatively, we can learn its small set of attacks and dodge through them, getting in 1 or 2 attacks of our own after each. However it is managed, once the giant is defeated, we can equip our Silver Cat ring and make a few survivable drops down to the area below. We can pick up the Titanite chunk from the giant, as well as the Profaned Flame spell, before going to the nearby lift. This is a shortcut leading back to the Irithyll Dungeon Bonfire. You may have noticed Siegward through a barred window in the rat pit. We will be saving him eventually, but we can't do it from there. We can make a quick trip back to Firelink Shrine to reinforce our Estus flask, then use the shortcut from the Irithyll Dungeon Bonfire. This time, we will run forward and to the left past the rats and go up a staircase. There is another chest mimic in this chamber, and while it does not have an important guaranteed drop, it is another opportunity to get the Symbol of Avarice head armor, assuming you don't already have it. There is also a tall ladder in this chamber, which we will need to climb up. If we time our jump well, we can get some lightning bolts, but either way, we will need to drop down to the risen walkway around the rat pit, then move into the nearby drainage channel. If any rats get in our way, we would do well to eliminate them as we move towards the 2 chests at the far end of the channel, as there is an ambush up ahead. This ambush is triggered by opening the chest to the right. Meanwhile, the chest on the left is a mimic, and we'll want to deal with that one first. It drops the Dark Clutch ring when defeated, and in the other chest we'll get the Old Cell key, which we will eventually use to free Siegward. As soon as we grab it, a horde of basilisks will spring forth a short distance down the channel. We'll need to get past them and go through the first passage on our left. I recommend defeating any enemies in the chamber with the 2 giant rats before proceeding, as they will make the next room even more difficult than it already is. The next room is filled with jailers, and I found fighting them to be very frustrating, so I chose speed and evasion instead. There are a few key items we need to pick up in this area. We can start by running straight across to the chamber on the other side of the central room. In the back right corner is the Profaned Coal. After grabbing it, we can leave the way that we entered, then move to our left. We can pick up the Alva armor set across the room if we want, but we'll then need to return to the side of the room where we got the Profaned Coal. Going up the stairs and down the hall, we will pass a chest mimic. It only contains 2 Titanite scales, and we should get a chance to deal with it later. Just past it, we can open the jail cell to our left. We'll want to grab the Xanthous ashes to the right before grabbing the Dusk Crown ring to the left. Picking up that ring will cause the body to scream, which will attract any nearby enemies, so we will need to get out of here as quickly as possible. Then turn right and go through the passageway at the far side of the room to make our escape and get out of danger. Now's a good time to pause if you need to catch up. This path will take us to a lookout and a broken statue of a draconic humanoid. For now, we can get the Dragon Torso Stone, but we will also be returning to this point later on. What we will also want to do is go take the nearby lift up a couple of levels. A shortcut can be opened here, which will make returning to the draconic statue easier. With that handled, we will double back and go down the lift. We can step off before reaching the bottom of the lift to get the Lightning Blade spell, then move back into the chamber with all the jailers. You may remember that one body howling after we picked up the Dusk Crown ring. Well, at least in my game, that drew all of the jailers into the cell, allowing me to loot the central chamber and defeat the one chest mimic without being detected by them. Again, this mimic only drops 2 Titanite scales, but it also has a chance to drop a Symbol of Avarice, so it may be worth defeating if you still need that head armor. Afterwards, we can exit the central chamber on the far side, making our way down the winding path to reach the Profaned Capital. Watching out for the gargoyle as we cross the bridge, we can drop down into the large circular tower and climb up a nearby ladder to reach the Profaned Capital bonfire. Right near that bonfire is the body of Laddersmith Gilligan, and we can pick up an undead bone shard from him, as well as the stretch out gesture. Going back to Firelink Shrine, we can give the Xanthous ashes to the handmaid. We can also give the profaned coal to blacksmith Andre, which will unlock the blood, dark, and hollow infusions. Finally, we can burn the undead bone shard at the bonfire and then travel back to the Profaned Capital. Our next task will be to rescue Siegward as well as a new NPC, Karla. Starting at the Profaned Capital bonfire, we can either climb down the nearby ladder or just drop down if we have the Silver Cat ring equipped. Across the tower should be an opening that we can drop down and out from. A quick warning to watch out for trap holes ahead as we go to the left and across a wooden bridge into a new area. Rather than chase directly after the crystal lizard ahead, we will want to go down the hall to our left and turn right at the end of it. Moving in that direction, we will then want to turn down the next hallway on our right. We will go to the left at the end of that hall and then through an opening to our right at the next fork. If we go to the end of this wooden bridge, we'll find 3 blooming purple moss clumps which can cure the toxic condition. That is a good thing to have because we might be afflicted with it as we cross the swamps below to reach the ladder in the distance. Also, unlike poison, the toxic condition is very lethal if left untreated, and it is not so easy to heal through. In any case, once we've climbed up the ladder, we can make our way around the building and go up to the rooftop. There, we'll need to defeat a hostile NPC, Logan, to get Logan's scroll. After grabbing that, we will jump from the rooftop through a nearby open window. This will take us to Siegward's chamber, which we can open with the old cell key. Speaking through all of Siegward's dialogue, we will get a Titanite slab, which is the ultimate upgrade material for weapons. We can also grab the covetous gold serpent ring nearby before leaving. Once back out on the rooftop, we can then go up the other set of stairs to reach the jailer's keyring, and keep in mind that picking it up will cause 2 jailers to spawn nearby. You can use a homeward bone to return to the Profaned Capital bonfire, but there is also a fairly easy return path to take, which will also get us some unique items. For that, we'll want to return to the rooftop that we just came from. We can then drop down through the central tower to a platform where the Wrath of the Gods spell is. Just below that is the Court Sorcerer set. We can then run down the nearby stairs and jump out the opening at the end of it. A ladder to our right will lead us back to the Profaned Capital Bonfire. To rescue Karla, we will need to go back to the room that is full of jailers. Starting from the Profaned Capital Bonfire, we can move down to the center, then climb up another ladder to get back towards that part of Irithyll Dungeon. Once there, we will find Karla's chamber up the stairs to our left and at the end of that walkway. It can only be opened with the jailer's keyring, which we now have. I personally didn't have any jailers follow me into the cell, but just make sure you watch your own back. We will need to speak with Karla and offer help, then save her nonetheless. Personally, I think it's worth using a homeward bone here. Next, we will start at the Irithyll Dungeon Bonfire and go into the main area of jail cells. Once there, we'll turn right and head far down this walkway, dropping down to the lower level near the end of it. There is a jail cell here that we can open with the jailer's keyring, and the prisoner chief's ashes can be found inside. Returning to Firelink Shrine, we can give the prisoner chief's ashes to the handmaid. Karla can be found in the alcove under the stairs to the left of Andre, and you may want to watch ahead for this next part. First off, we can give her both the Quillana and the Grave Warden Pyromancy tomes. In addition, if you want to avoid the bad ending for Irina's questline and also really want those dark miracles, you can give Karla both the Deep and Londor Braille Divine tomes. You will need to ask her twice before she will accept them. That being said, if you want to keep all quest endings open for as long as possible, then hang on to those 2 divine tomes for now. Finally, we can give Logan's scroll to Orbeck. All that's left is to defeat the final boss of this area. Starting at the Profaned Capital Bonfire, we will slide down a different nearby ladder, this one going down along the outer wall of the tower. A gargoyle will swoop in on us as we cross the bridge, and jailer handmaids will shoot balls of fire at us from afar. If you still don't have a Symbol of Avarice, there are 2 more chest mimics in this next chamber. If we turn right when entering, the 2 mimics will be at the far end of the hall. Just make sure to approach slowly so that you don't attract all of the jailer handmaids at the same time as getting ambushed by a gargoyle. In any case, the boss chamber is down the narrow hallway to our left, and I have a couple of warnings to give here. First of all, after this fight, we will find ourselves near Emma. Do not speak to her, instead run to the nearest bonfire and go spend your souls. As for this upcoming boss fight, you may want to watch ahead even though there are spoilers, as this boss has a special trick to defeat, and spending time figuring it out could result in missing out on some NPC dialogue. You won't miss out on anything unique though, so you can pause now if you would rather avoid boss spoilers. For everyone else, Siegward will join us for the fight against Yhorm the Giant. If we want to save him from dying during the fight, we will need to act quickly. Sprinting over to the far side of this chamber, we will need to pick up and equip the Storm Ruler's sword. We can then hold the weapon skill input, and on an Xbox controller this is the left trigger, to charge up the sword. Once you see the vortex effect flare up, it is ready. It can then be loosed by clicking the light attack input while holding down the skill input. Once the skill is charged, it will remain charged until used, so you can charge it, dodge an attack, then release it right after with no delay. If you manage to start doing this before Yhorm defeats Siegward, then the fight will be extremely easy. Between a staggered barrage from 2 Storm Rulers, Yhorm will spend almost the entire fight stun-locked. Now, if Siegward does die, just make sure to pick up his shield and armor set. As soon as Yhorm is defeated, we can equip our Symbol of Avarice to gain an extra 18,000 souls. We will also get our 3rd Cinders of a Lord and Soul of Yhorm. If we manage to keep Siegward alive, we can then speak to him after the fight for some final dialogue and one last Siegbräu. Once again, we do not want to speak to the NPC Emma, as we will be transported to the cathedral at the High Wall of Lothric. Take my word for it for now, and instead, we can either use a homeward bone or just run to a nearby bonfire to get back to Firelink Shrine and spend our souls. In addition, we should have a new bonfire for Yhorm the Giant, and we can go there to get Siegward's Catarina armor set, Pierced Shield, and a Storm Ruler sword. With that, we are ready to go speak with Emma. The nearest bonfire is Vort of the Boreal Valley, and the cathedral is just at the top of the wide staircase. Pause until after you speak with Emma, get the Basin of Vows, and approach the statue behind her if you want to avoid spoilers. For everyone else, this is one of the most iconic boss fights in Dark Souls 3. Dancer of the Boreal Valley is an extremely cool boss and has some deadly combos. That being said, she still gives plenty of opportunities for us to deal damage. So long as we time our dodges well and watch out for that flurry spin attack at the start of the second phase, we should be able to take her down in short order. Quickly equipping the Symbol of Avarice after the fight will get us an extra 30,000 souls. We will also get the Soul of the Dancer. I have a quick warning about Greirat here as we discover the nearby bonfire and return to Firelink Shrine to spend our souls. If not now, then soon enough, Greirat will ask us to go pillage Lothric Castle. No matter what we do, Greirat will not survive this adventure. There is no gain in sending him to pillage Lothric Castle, so if you want to keep him alive, then you must refuse his request when he makes it. Next up, let's cover several minor zones before progressing into Lothric Castle. Starting at the Dancer of the Boreal Valley bonfire, we can go to the statue that was behind Emma and place Basin. A short cinematic will play and a ladder will slide down. Climbing up this ladder, we can go down the path directly to our left to reach a lift, which will take us down to the Consumed King's Garden. There is an upper level that we can reach if we drop off the lift a little before it reaches the bottom. To our right, we will find our second to last Estus shard. We can then go to the left side and drop down to find a Titanite chunk. Moving along the left side of this area will allow us to avoid toxic water and enemies. Near the end of this path, we can get another Titanite chunk at the top of some stairs. We can then drop down to the right to enter the ruins. We should have enough Titanite chunks to upgrade our weapon again, and we also have that Estus shard. You can go back to Firelink Shrine to get those advantages before proceeding, but I'm going to just press on until the next bonfire. If we are embered, a summoning sign will appear for Hawkwood, and we can summon him to help with the fight ahead. If you do this, I recommend dealing with the 2 knight enemies before going to the boss room. Otherwise, it is unlikely that Hawkwood will be joining you. As a bonus, one of the 2 knights will drop the magic stoneplate ring when defeated. The major boss of this area is down the following staircase. Don't forget about the Symbol of Avarice trick for extra souls, and you can pause now to avoid boss spoilers. For everyone else, Oceiros the Consumed King is a weird boss. In his first phase, we just need to watch out for his damaging fog attack and get in hits when possible. In phase 2, Oceiros begins to rampage and becomes an unpredictable, sorta janky mess, at least in my opinion. I found the best bet is to try and stay behind him and close, dodging past his charges. In any case, we can equip the Symbol of Avarice after defeating Oceiros to get an extra 24,000 or so souls. We will also get the Soul of Consumed Oceiros. After discovering the nearby bonfire, we can return to Firelink Shrine to spend our souls and reinforce both our Estus flask and weapon of choice. We should be able to get it to +8. Returning to the Oceiros bonfire, we will move down the path beyond the double doors. The Path of the Dragon gesture is found here, which we will need soon. You can loot the 2 chests here for some Titanite scales, but more importantly, we can attack or roll through the illusory wall behind the back chest to reach the Untended Graves location and bonfire. This area is a near identical copy of the Cemetery of Ash from the beginning of the game, but shrouded in pitch black darkness. We will start by moving forward and to the right from the bonfire, going straight ahead. If we are embered, we will be invaded by the Daughter of Crystal when we reach the ridge and go up to the left. Unfortunately, she doesn't give us anything but souls when defeated. As you might have guessed, there is a boss in the arena ahead. We can find a summoning sign for the Swordmaster NPC outside of it if we are embered. There is also a weapon that you can pick up to the right as you enter, and don't forget to make use of the Symbol of Avarice. You can pause now to avoid boss spoilers. For everyone else, Champion Gundyr is similar to the version of him that we already fought. He is just tougher, deals more damage, and is in his prime. He doesn't have the same phase 2 as we fought before. Instead, he just gets more aggressive and angry at around half health. Still, he should not be a crazy challenge compared to the other bosses that we've already fought. Equipping the Symbol of Avarice quickly after the fight will get us an extra 25,000 souls. We will also get the soul of Champion Gundyr. We should hold on to those souls for now as we discover the nearby Champion Gundyr bonfire and move from it towards this area's version of Firelink Shrine. If you want, you can go up to the left of this shrine to get the Chaos Blade. It's located near this area's version of where we fought the Swordmaster. There are a few important items to get in this area's version of Firelink Shrine. First is the Coiled Sword Fragment, which serves as a reusable homeward bone. This shrine also has a handmaid, and we can purchase some unique items from her, including the Wolf Knight armor set and Priestess ring. A blacksmith hammer can be found resting on the anvil, and we can then move down the stairs to the left from there, going through an illusory wall to reach the spot that Irina typically resides in. There, we will find the Eyes of a Firekeeper key item. There are a few other notable unique items in this area, but for our purposes, we can use our Coiled Sword Fragment to return to Firelink Shrine. There, we can give the Eyes of a Firekeeper to the Firekeeper. Doing this will unlock the option to get the End of Fire game ending and achievement after defeating the final boss. Next, let's make our way to Archdragon Peak. We will start at the Irithyll Dungeon bonfire and make our way towards the cell that we found the Jailbreaker's key at. Once there, we can drop down to the lower level and go through that shortcut that we opened up earlier. The lift there will take us down to the overlook with the dragon statue. We'll need to equip and use the Path of the Dragon gesture here, and you can pause now to avoid spoilers. After the cinematic plays out, we will reappear in Archdragon Peak. To avoid an annoying journey back to this area, we should prioritize reaching and lighting the first bonfire, which is up the path past several serpent men. Do take note of a Titanite chunk that we can pick up right before the bonfire. From the Archdragon Peak bonfire, we can move along the path to the left of the gate structure to get a Titanite chunk. Down to the left of the gate lever is the Lightning Clutch ring, and there is another Titanite chunk along the inside wall of the initial gate structure. I recommend reading the ground messages as you open and move beyond the next gate. Don't forget about the symbol of avarice here, and you can pause now to avoid spoilers. For everyone else, the Ancient Wyvern has a special trick to defeat it. We will need to move along an obstacle course of sorts, and we will go ahead and collect several Titanite chunks along the way. After getting past the dragon, we will head for the structure to our left. Once inside, we'll go down the path to the left and then left once more to get another Titanite chunk. To progress further, we will need to turn around and run up a long staircase to the ruins' upper level. For 2 more Titanite chunks, we can make our way left of the bridge up to the ruins' top floor. The 2 Titanite chunks are sitting near a giant serpent man. We will then need to drop down and cross over that bridge. This is the part that can get pretty dangerous, as we will need to climb the ladder near the fog wall up onto the scaffolding. We can then go down a series of drops to reach a portion of bridge with messages on it. The dragon should position its head beneath it, and we will want to wait until we are sure that it's not going to move. We will then need to execute a plunge attack on its head by running off the edge of the platform and pressing the light weapon attack while in midair. If done correctly, this should instantly kill the Ancient Wyvern. Don't forget to equip the Symbol of Avarice and even the Silver Serpent Ring if you have the time. Doing so will get us an additional 45,000 or so souls, in addition to the Dragon Head Stone. After the fight, we should also be transported to a new location and bonfire, which we will want to discover. If you've been following the walkthroughs closely, and particularly for that fight, you should now have enough Titanite chunks to reinforce your weapon of choice to +9. We can then use the Titanite slab that we got from Siegward earlier to get its final reinforcement up to +10. Returning to the Dragonkin Mausoleum bonfire, we will begin making our way to the final bonfire of this area. As we enter the mausoleum, a summoner will bring forth a Drakeblood Knight, and it will drop the Drakeblood Greatsword the first time it is defeated. That aside, we can move up the staircase and then down the side path from a large closed gate. Near the end of the side path, we can drop down to a wooden platform and make our way to a somewhat hidden ladder. Climbing up it will bring us to the Thunderstone Plate Ring, and we can drop back down to the main path from there. As we cross the bowed wooden bridge, there will be a crystal lizard and chest on our left, with 3 twinkling titanite and 3 titanite scales between them. Grab those if you want, then head out the door to the right. Along this stretch, we will be ambushed by another dragon, and the rock lizards are also sort of a pain. Also, as a quick warning, do not ring any bells or pull any levers ahead. Beyond that, we will just need to get past a final summoner and past the Great Belfry, which again we don't want to ring just yet, in order to reach the bonfire. Before we fight the final boss of this area, we need to complete Hawkwood's questline. From the Great Belfry bonfire, we can move out a new opening. If we're embered, we should find Hawkwood's summoning sign. He can be useful to summon here as a distraction, or if you want to engage with the enemies ahead. The path forward is chock full of serpentmen, and to the left of the main path is a ridge where we can find the Dragon Chaser's ashes. Just be careful that you don't die in your rush to get it, like I almost did. In any case, I found it easier to draw out all of the enemies along this path, then dart past them, rather than fight them. At the end of the path, top of the stairs, we will need to use our Path of the Dragon gesture to get the Twinkling Dragon Torso Stone. Going back to Firelink Shrine, we can give the Dragon Chaser's ashes to the Handmaid. This will allow us to purchase an unlimited number of Titanite chunks, Twinkling Titanite, and Titanite scales from her. Also, if we go speak with Andre, he will give us a message from Hawkwood, though this step is actually not necessary. To complete Hawkwood's questline, we will need to go to the Abyss Watcher's bonfire and turn around. You can pause now to avoid spoilers. As you likely found out, Hawkwood is waiting for us here, and challenges us to a duel. If he defeats us, he will take our Twinkling Dragon Torso Stone. Don't worry if that happens though, as defeating him will get it back, and we will also get his Twinkling Dragon Headstone. Now that we've gotten all these Dragonstone items, I should probably explain them real quick, and you may want to watch ahead or read their description before using them. The Dragonstones are reusable transformation items and can only be used while not wearing any armor at all. Using either of the Twinkling Stones will give us a draconic form upon first use and can be used again for a special attack. You'll need to hold the use item input for the headstones, and doing so will channel a breath attack. The only downside to this form is that we cannot wear armor while using it, and only death can reverse us back to human form, so use it at your own discretion. With that done, let's go back to the Great Belfry bonfire and ring the bell. You can pause until after doing that to avoid spoilers. Ringing the bell will cause the boss arena to appear and will temporarily close off access to certain portions of this area. We will just need to defeat the boss to get that access back. For this boss, I recommend rings that increase max health and also that grant resistance to lightning damage. Don't forget the Symbol of Avarice, and you can pause now to avoid spoilers. For everyone else, this boss has two phases. The first is the King of the Storm, a dragon with a rider. Its weak spot is the head. The boss will typically fly, land, and perform one or more attacks in succession, leading to an opening for us to deal damage of our own. The best opportunity for us to deal damage is when the dragon channels its Fire Breath attack while on the ground. The only part of this phase that I find particularly difficult is when the dragon flies in the air and blankets us with fire. It's the one attack that I'm not really sure how to avoid or survive. In any case, once the dragon has been staggered, we can go up to its face to deal a critical strike, chunking away a ton of health. Phase 2 of the fight starts after the dragon has been defeated. We will then need to defeat its rider, the Nameless King. It is not an easy boss by any means, but the Nameless King has a relatively predictable attack pattern for the most part. The hardest attack for me to read and dodge is his lightning strike, which he calls forth right after performing a lightning slam with his spear. Quickly equipping the Symbol of Avarice after defeating the Nameless King will get us an extra 40,000 souls. We will also get the Soul of the Nameless King. We can then discover the nearby bonfire and move across this new area for some final rewards, those being a Titanite slab, the Dragonslayer armor set, and the Dragonslayer spear. If you're having trouble or need any clarification on what was covered in this video, you can reach out to me in the comments where I will do my best to help. All that is left is to journey through Lothric Castle, defeat the final few major bosses, wrap up remaining questlines, and beat the game. All of that will be covered in Part 9, which you can find over on my channel. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. You're helping me feed my cat, her name's Marshmallow. Have a great day. If you're here today, have a great Saturday and a great weekend. And as always, thanks for watching.